everybody. Well, here it is, the end of my first cycle of chemo. I went in today and I went in at 9:30 and I was hooked up. Let me first pan the camera down so you could see that right there is the needle that's inside of my port. And they tape you down so that it's nice and sterile. They clean you off with alcohol all over this area, and then they put the needle in. They put these pads alongside of the needle to hold it straight so it's stable for stability, and then they tape it down here, and then they put another tape here for to tape the tube so that the tube doesn't bounce around. That right there, they don't mess with that at all. So I went in at 9:30 and I met with Rosemary. One thing I forgot to mention in my last video was when I went in to get my port, I found out that I was getting the smallest port, and I actually have some information. It's called a power port, and this doesn't have the picture. I will keep looking while I'm, oh, here it is. Here's what the ports look like, and this is the newest one, and that's the one that I have installed. It's the smallest. They said it's the most streamlined, and it's the newest. So that's the one that I have in me. I got to see what it looked like without all the dressing on it, and I'm sorry, I wish I would have been able to take a picture of it. Maybe when I go to have the pump removed, I'll be able to then. But one of the head nurses, I believe her name was Linda, she told me that she was surprised that I had it installed yesterday and that my surgeon did an excellent job. It looks like it's been there. But because she knew I had it installed yesterday, she was being extra careful with, they have to push on the port to find where exactly to put the needle in. So I met with Rosemary. She took me back. She explained a few things to me about how, things happen. I found out today that I was receiving an additional medication, and I'll read those off to you. And I thought it might have been a toxin, but it's actually a vitamin. So the first one they started me with is the oxaliplatin. Now that toxin, that's reminding me to take my blood pressure medication. That specific toxin, one of the side effects of it, or the main side effect of it, is your sensitivity to cold, and that actually happened right away. I thought I had a bottle of water at room temperature, but it was not. And when I drank it, I actually almost felt like my throat wanted to close. Thank God I didn't keep pounding it back like I usually do. But once I felt that, it was like, whoa, okay, so I need to make sure that the water's either like slightly warm or definitely room temperature. And with the weather getting cold, that's going to be a little hard, so I'm most likely going to have to warm up my water to make sure I don't cause myself some suffocation. So that was the oxaliplatin. Yeah. Then the next two I got at the same time. The oxaliplatin took a little over 2 hours. They said 2.5 hours, but I don't think it was that long. I was there for a total of close to 6 hours. It was 5.5, maybe 5 hours, 45 minutes. So then I got two that was fed at the same time. One was a medication that helps with my kidneys while I'm taking the toxin. And I'm sorry I'll clarify with my nurses when I go back, so in case any of you are taking or are scheduled to take that medication, I could explain better what works with what. And then fluorouracil. yeah, fluorouracil. And I think, oh, that's, there's one that's a calcium that, what, it's to counteract another medication that I'm getting. Let me, I think I have it here. Yeah. Leucovorin calcium. It's to avoid side effects of another drug. I don't know which one it is. I know there's one drug that I got that instantaneously gave me stomach cramps, and I had to get 4 milligrams of, it starts with an A. It's not in any of my paperwork, so I'm sorry I don't know the name of that. I'm trying to go off of, you know, the stuff that I was given today and memory. Let's see. Let me see if it's on here at all. Yes, atropine. Atropine is the medication that they gave me to counteract the stomach cramps. Because there's one of those toxins are really harsh on your stomach, so the atropine helps. So I'm sorry about all of that. Now I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning when I went in there. So Rosemary cleaned me up. We had on our masks, and she tried to enter the port. The first one didn't take. Then she tried to do it again, and when she tried to back some blood out, there was a little that came out. When you're set properly in the port, you will get, you know, a full blood draw from it. And because she got a little bit of blood, she figured it was okay. She'd take me down. And then I started to feel a little bit of pressure on my chest. And I had told her, am I supposed to feel pressure? And she's like, well, we're going to have to take that one out and reset it again. And I was like, because my port, because it's brand new, I couldn't put lidocaine on it. I couldn't put anything to numb on it. So anytime they stuck me, it stung. Now it's not super unbearable, but it's uncomfortable. And I had already been stuck twice. So that's when she went and got Linda, who I think is like a supervising RN. And she came right over, cleaned me up, apologized for, you know, the having to stick me again. And she said she's going to try to get in there quick and as painless as possible. Not going to be completely painless, but, you know, she'd try to get me good. And she did. She just, bam, went right in there. And it stung for a minute. After a minute, I was like, okay, this is good. She was able to draw blood from it. And then they gave me the oxaliplatin drug. So I was in a recliner chair. Next time I go, I'll take a picture of the area so you can see what it looks like. They have TVs on arms where you could adjust them. For the most part, for the first half, I was reclined back, like laying back, really comfortable. They give you pillows. They have like graham cracker snacks, and they'll give you water if you want water. And then, you know, you get warm blankets. It's really nice. They make you as comfortable as possible, and they're very, very attentive to you. They'll, you know, at the time I went in, there were four other people in there getting infusions, and I never once had to wait for someone when I needed to be unhooked to go to the bathroom, or if I was, you know, starting to feel the stomach cramps or anything like that. They were right there. So I will tell you, you will urinate a lot. You're getting all this stuff pumped into you, and you're gonna go. So, you know, plan to be back and forth to the bathroom. First half I was reclined. Second half I needed to sit up. I just felt my butt getting numb, in all honesty. It's like I'm seated for such a long time. So it was a nice adjustment to get off one area of my hiney and move to another. Then came time where I was done with all of my in-house toxins, and they hooked me up to a pump. And what the pump looks like is, it looks like a Christmas bulb. It's about this big around. It's a bulb, and it's full of chemotherapy, and that's what this tube is. It comes, I'm trying not to disturb my port, but it comes from my port all the way down, and they bring it up and they just tape it. See, that's the connector from the chemo bulb to the port, and they tape it down here, and then let me see if I could bring up. I have like a, let me flip it down. I have like a, I don't think you guys could see that, but this is a little, see, it's a little fanny pack, and the bulb is actually inside of here. They put it in a fanny pack so that I could, you know, walk around with it and carry it. As far as sleeping, it needs to stay on top of the covers and below my port. It always has to stay below my port. So sleeping is going to be a little interesting. I might try to prop my pillows up so I'm a little elevated, and I'm going to move my chemo bulb a little off because the line is pretty long. So I'm going to move it a little off so I don't accidentally roll on top of it, because that would be all bad. They gave me a kit. It's like a gown, and it has this yellow bag in this. She said it's never happened, but if the bulb should rupture or if it should leak, I need to put on gloves and get the bag contained, put it in the yellow bag, but I need to make sure that I have the gown on and that none of the chemotherapy liquid touches my skin or whoever's helping me, any of their skin. Again, she said it's never happened, but they err on the side of caution. So I have portable chemo. I have chemo in a fanny pack, which kind of made me laugh. I mean, the one thing through this whole thing that I kept thinking about, one of my most favorite people on the planet, my best friend, my brother, Jose, made a crack about the port, because what it looks like is it's just a lump under your skin. The skin covers it. I'll take a picture so you can see it. He asked if when I'm done with chemo, if it would pop like that thing that's in a turkey. So every time I look at this thing, I think of myself as a chemotherapy turkey, and hopefully when I'm done, you know, it'll pop or something. No, I hope it doesn't pop, but that just made me laugh. So every time I look at it, I think of myself as a Thanksgiving Day chemo turkey. It's not bad. I thought it was going to be ridiculously terrible. I mean, seriously, who wants something embedded under their skin? Unless you like dermals, you know, and good for you. That stuff scares me. I think it looks beautiful. I would love to adorn my neckline with a bunch of rhinestone dermals, but I can't do that. So, the port is not, it's not terrible. It's different, definitely, but it's not terrible. I go back on, it was really cool. She gave me this is my list of all of my drugs and the dates. I found out today that I'm on a 6-month plan. My final cycle is scheduled for April 16th of 2019. I am hoping that this chemo just really beats the shit out of the cancer, and it shrinks the mass, and that my doctor stops the chemo early and we just go in and get it. So that's, you know, fingers crossed, that's what I'm hoping happens. If not, I'm gonna power through as best as I can for the next 6 months and try to kick this cancer's ass. Rosemary, gave me a calendar, which was really cool. Oh, I'll just show you all this stuff. This is my After visit summary. Basically, it says all the medications that I was taking and my weight, my height, all of that. And my upcoming visits, what medications I was given, and when. It actually has a time on here. The next page is just a continuation of upcoming appointments. Instructions when I come home. Before I got the Oxy, I'm going to call it Oxy because I keep butchering the word. Before I got the Oxy, they gave me 5 steroid pills to help with the chemo, and 3 ondansetron, which is Zofran, which is anti-nausea medication. Those 3 Zofran are supposed to take care of me all through the rest of the night. She said first thing in the morning, when I wake up, take my ondansetron. And oops, that's the wrong one. It is 8 milligrams. And I'm supposed to take 1 tablet by mouth every 8 to 12 hours. Now, one tip she gave me is don't wait to feel nauseous to take it, because if you wait, it's typically too late and it's hard to get the nausea under control. So she told me when I wake up, just take the pill. And make sure that I'm taking it every 8 to 12 hours. So I'm going to set, I have an iPhone, I'm going to set a reminder for me to, take that pill. I also was prescribed loperamide, which is Imodium, in case diarrhea happens. If it does, I have to take 2 tablets by mouth at the onset of it, then 1 tablet by mouth every 2 hours around the clock until I'm diarrhea free for at least 12 hours. But I can only take a maximum of 8 tablets per day. And then when I go back Thursday, I need to get the injection of the filgrastim, the Zarzio. And I'm going to take it with me. It's kept in the refrigerator, and I was told by my oncologist that I need to remove it from the refrigerator a half an hour before I inject it so it won't be as cold, because I have sensitivity to cold, and if I inject myself with something that cold, it's going to cause me a lot of pain. So, and I have to take that on days 3 through 7, so 5 days of shots. I don't know how to give myself a shot. I'm not really cool with giving myself a shot, but I'm going to have to be, because this is going to happen for 6 months. I'm hoping not, but it might. So I'm going to take the syringe in with me. I'm probably going to ask if I could come back, on the days where I'm feeling a little weenie-ish, or like a la-la. I'm probably going to ask if I could just bring the shot in with me and have them give it to me. Or if they could teach my son, who's going to be going to chemo with me religiously, if they could train him to do it. I don't know how he's going to feel about giving me a shot, though. So we'll see. To be continued. It says, remember to drink 2 to 3 quarts of liquid per day. That's a lot of liquid. But what that does is it helps flush out the chemo. So 2 to 3 quarts. Wash hands frequently. The symptoms to report within 24 hours is a fever above 100.4, or if I get the chills. More than 5 watery bowel movements in a day, or no bowel movements in 3 days. Excessive vomiting with no fluid intake in over 12 hours. Bleeding or excessive bruising. And honestly, I was expecting to be really bruised up because of this, and I'm not. I was like really shocked. I didn't see any bruising at all. It looked swollen. I don't know if it's going to take a couple days to bruise, but there's no bruising there. Shortness of breath or excessive fatigue. And then I have to have my labs drawn the day before my next chemo. Now, this is something that I found out when I got my port installed, and I forgot to add it to the last, or maybe I did, I don't remember, but just in case I didn't. The only people who can access your port are registered nurses. You can't have a licensed vocational nurse touch it or any other type of nurse, only a registered nurse. So when I have to go to the lab to get my blood drawn, I was hoping they could just, get it through the port. That's not going to happen because they have to be a registered nurse in order to access the port. So not this Monday, but next Monday, which I believe is the 26th, I need to go in and have some labs done. And hopefully, I'm confusing the A1C with the other marker. I think it's like a C19 or something that they check for cancer markers. So I'm assuming they're going to check, my liver to make sure my bilirubin's gone down and that the chemotherapy hasn't had any effect on that. I'm sure they're going to check my kidneys. I don't know if they're going to check that cancer marker or not. I'm assuming they might. My next question to my oncologist when I see him on the 29th is when I'll get my next CT scan to measure how well the chemotherapy is beating up the mass. I know it can't be too soon, but I don't want to be 3 months later getting a scan. So hopefully, like I said, this chemo regimen is going to really beat up the cancer and make it shrink really quickly so I can get in and have the Whipple done and get back to living life cancer-free. They give you a phone number to call during business hours and after hours. If my discharge instructions they call this a home infuser. I need to report any links or kinks in the line. I can't clamp it. I need to check it 2 times a day to make sure that it is, in fact, delivering the chemo into me, that the bag is shrinking. And then I have to keep the dressing clean, dry, and intact. There's, again, no showers. So, I'm going to be a sponge bathing maniac. Let's see, and that was, it says call with any questions. So that was my after visit summary. Then, yesterday I got the post-op information for the implanted port. And I think I pretty much went over that. It has dates on when to, I can't mess with my dressing or anything like that. Then I got information on all of the medications. See, oxaliplatin, yeah. And then you guys can see all of the ones that I have. Irinotecan. I don't know which is the one that they call 5FU. It should be on there. It's the one that's in the bulb right now. I can't read that backwards. And then I think that's it. Yeah, that's 4. Yeah, I was told I was going to get 3, but I got 4. And 1 was a vitamin. And then I get this calendar. And she printed out a calendar for me of all the days that I have to go back in to do what. She even added my Zarzio shots on there, so I get 5 days of Zarzio. And then I, penciled in my dressing changes. I need to find out if when I go here, when the pump is removed, if I need to come back Monday or if they just want me to come back, the following, or sometime later next week, instead of Monday. But yeah, I thought this was really awesome. Having this calendar is like really helpful. I got this home pump. I got sent home with this pamphlet, and a lot of the stuff in here really didn't apply to me. Like, they tell you how to connect it. I wouldn't do that. They do that. Gives you information on how to connect it. Then they tell you how to disconnect it. Oh, good. Here's a picture. Okay, here's a picture of the bag when it's full, and then when it's empty. It's supposed to be flat, and the thing in the middle you should be able to feel, and it's hard. I was a little apprehensive because you guys know when you have an IV and you run out of your medication, your blood could start sucking backwards through the IV, and that's not the business. So I was worried about when this empties out if it would do the same thing, and because it's done in a vacuum type of form, it's just going to seal itself. So I shouldn't have any of the blood backing out issues. I don't have any skin problems with my skin yet. I did, although, notice a change in, I packed a no sugar added applesauce to munch on, in addition to one of my Ensure protein drinks. It wasn't the butter pecan. Today I had, I'm having the butter pecan tonight though. I had a strawberry one today. And then I took these little things called Aussie Bites. I really like these. It's like a little granola bar, and there's only 6 grams of sugars, and 7 grams of fat, and 14 carbs. These, when I take them, they do not spike my sugar, so I love these to munch on. So I had an applesauce, an Aussie Bite, and a Glucerna, a strawberry Glucerna today while I was there. And I had, oh, I don't have them here, but I had, there are these little protein bites, and they're low in sugar. They're like great for diabetics. They don't spike my sugars, and they're protein. They're little balls. I have some that are dark chocolate covered with coconut, and then peanut butter and dark chocolate. So I had 2 of those because 1 serving is 2, and the balls are like maybe about that big. They don't fill you up, but it's kind of a tasty little bite. You feel like you're having a treat. It's either that or I'm just gonna burn my way through some chocolate. My Jose got me, in case you guys didn't know, I keep it right here for when I have an attack. This is like awesome. They're dark chocolate, sugar-free walnut things. I don't have them every day. I have them when I feel like I'm having a sugar attack and I need something really sweet. So I'll have 1 or 2. I love them. I think that's all. I'm going on 27 minutes. I hope it uploads. So if you have any questions, or I think my next video that I'll probably make tonight is about the medicinal marijuana stuff that I have and that I'll be taking. So if you have any questions about this video, about my first run at chemotherapy, please post a comment down below, and I will answer them to the best of my knowledge. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. I mean, I'll see you again because of the medicinal marijuana video, but I will see you tomorrow to let you know how day 2 goes, how I'm feeling, and all of that. So, I don't know if I mentioned that there was a change in the flavor of the applesauce. I know I brought it up, but I did notice that there is a difference in the taste already. So those side effects, like, really kick in. Okay, I'm signing off now. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you're having an awesome day. Okay, bye.